Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a creative reset. This is actually part 2 of my post-trip reset. So part 1 will already be out, where I focus more on my physical reset, getting back into routine and reading Legendborn. So make sure to check that out. And then in this video, as I said, it's more of a creative reset. So the main things that I want to be doing are, first of all, scrapbooking. I recently went on a trip to India, which is also a separate vlog that I have out. And I want to update my scrapbook with that trip. I'm not sure how many spreads it will take up. I think maybe 1 or 2, because I have a few things that I've saved, such as boarding tickets, tags from hotels, receipts, things like that. And then I of course want to print off some pictures and get those in here as well. So I want to do that. I also want to update my book journal. I have not updated this since I read the Ember Quartet, which was at the start of the year. So I want to add my January wrap up, my February wrap up. I was going to add my March one, but since March is not actually over at the time that I'm filming this, what I'm going to do instead is leave a double page spread for that, so I can come back to that at a later stage. And then I want to set up my April TBR, because I already do have an idea of some of the books that I want to read. I also want to update my 2026 TBR and just tick off the books that I've read and have a look at it, and I can see which books I might want to read next. I do have an idea, but I thought it'd be nice to update it in here as well. And then of course I will be reading. I'm currently reading the second book in the Book of Asriel series, which is called The Throne of Broken Gods by Amber V. Nicole. This is the second book. There are 4 books out, and I think it's going to end up being a 7-book series. So not all of the books are out yet, but I do just want to catch up with the series. So that's what I'm currently reading, and that is the plan for this video. So to start off with, I want to do my scrapbooking. So in order to do that, I need to have a look at what pictures I want to print out, and hopefully my printer will work. I haven't used it in about a month, so I'm hoping it will be fine, but sometimes it does have a few issues when I first try and use it, and then it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is, in Canva, I'm basically going to go through all of the pictures from my India trip, and then I'm going to set them up and then print them off, and then we can get started on my actual scrapbook. So I usually use an A5 template because that's what I have in terms of paper for my printer, but those have nearly run out, and I've realized that I actually have A4 as well. So I'm just finding a template that I can use for this, and that's what I'm going to put all of my pictures on. So I'm just going through my photos. I think I want about maybe 10 to 20 pictures, and then I will cut them down if I decide to. I do have an idea of the pictures that I want, because I've obviously gone through my pictures a few times to see what I like and what I don't like. So hopefully we do have a good amount of them. My voice sounds a little bit odd. It's because I do in fact have a sore throat and like a cold. I'm not sure where it's come from, but I have had that since I got back from my trip, so that's not been the best. But let's see. I'm not sure how many pictures I put down yet, but I think we're getting there. And I'm realizing that as I'm moving them into Canva, it's actually putting them on different pages. So I need to have a look at organizing them correctly. And I think I do want them chronologically, because I want them to coincide with all of the tickets that I have in my scrapbook and the things that I've got from my trip there. Canva is really just irritating me, so I am going to try and do this on Pages instead. I used to use Canva all the time for this, but they've had some update which is not allowing me to be as freeform with where I put my photos, and it's trying to make them all aligned to each other. And then it's not letting me edit that, or at least I'm not familiar enough with it to edit it well enough, and it's just taking too long. So I'm going to download Pages. I'm going to try it on there instead, and hopefully that's better. Okay, so I've got my first row of pictures, which is basically the 4 pictures that I want from Mumbai. I think I am going to do like 4, 4, 4 for each location we went to, it might be less than that for some, but I think it will work for a few of them. I'm gonna just finish setting all of these photos up, but Pages is definitely working better. It's not as good as the old Canva, but it's better than the new Canva update. Okay, so I have got all the photos set up. They've managed to split onto 2 A4 sheets, which I think works quite well. I am actually going to have a little bit of toast and another cup of tea, and then I'm going to come back, print these off, and then I will be back with you and start setting up the actual spreads. Okay, so it took some time because the printer didn't want to print, but I managed to figure it out, and we've got the pictures printed off. So I did manage to print some of them off, so I will show you a few of them. So this is like a nice little tea in the morning. This is a picture of me, a picture of me and my family, like our shadow. This is a picture of one of the sites we visited, another one of those. And now what I want to do is I actually don't need my laptop with me, so I'm going to open up my scrapbook spread, and I am going to just sort through all of the tickets and stuff and just put them in chronological order, and then I can map them to the pictures and start cutting those out. Okay, so what I've done is I've actually cut these up and I've got them set up in almost 6 groups, I think, of pictures with the items that go alongside it. For example, I have these pictures for Mumbai, and then I have the tag that was on my suitcase for my flight to Mumbai. So that's together, and I've essentially got about 6 groups of those. Now what I'm going to do is open up my scrapbook. I think this is going to be more than 2 spreads because there's actually quite a lot more than I thought there was going to be. So I'm just going to start setting up the background, start sticking things down, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure which ones are going to be grouped together, which ones aren't. I'm just going to start and we'll see where we end up. So this box that I have in my hands right now was actually given to us by the Taj Hotel, and they gave like a little elephant inside as well, so I thought I would keep it and use it as part of my scrapbook. Okay, so I've got 3 spreads set up. What I'm going to do is go back through and just add any notes and stuff that I want to on them. So I have finished updating my scrapbook, and it ended up crossing over 3 spreads. So the first spread is split into 2. This side is focused on Mumbai, and then this side is the Jaipur trip, or at least the start of it. And then on the next page, we have one that is focused completely on Jaipur because we did spend a couple of days there. And then the final page where we spent most of our time was in Delhi, so that is updated as well. Now, I really like how these turned out. I definitely didn't do too much background stuff because a lot of it was just using the things that I had taken from the trip. So that set up pretty nicely, and I like how they've turned out. I haven't written too much in the spreads because I just didn't feel like I needed to. One thing that I really like that I've done is in a little envelope, I've got some of the pictures all together, and then I've just got on the back of them the day and the location. So I really like that. So I've got that on a few of them, and that's just popped into the envelope on one of the spreads. Now this scrapbook is definitely getting very chunky, and I've got a lot of pages left, so I'm gonna have to keep using it. But in the future, what I'll do is first of all use one that is bigger than this. I think this size is a bit too small. And secondly, use one that has like this spiral binding, because I think that will be easier to flip back over, whereas this is just, I'm not loving it. It's quite difficult to stick down things on one side. They tend to fall off quite a lot, so I need to keep that in mind as I move forward. But that is my scrapbook all updated. Okay, so I am now on a walk because it's sunny, and I figured I might as well make the most out of it. I'm really wondering what I should do with my scrapbook, because the more and more I use it, the more it's going to irritate me, and then I'm not going to want to use it anymore as it gets more difficult to like stick stuff down. So I'm going to have to decide on that. For the moment, I'm going to keep using it, but it's definitely something I'm thinking about. I am listening to music right now, but earlier I was listening to the second book in the Ashes of Thesmar series. I keep forgetting what it's called. I'm only a couple of chapters in, but it basically picks back up straight after the end of the first book. So that's what I've been listening to this morning, and I'll probably listen to that at some point later today as well. When I get back home, I need to tidy up my room and things, and then I'll probably read later on in the evening and just settle in for the evening, and then get ready for a new week tomorrow. So I did in fact buy a matcha, and it was disgusting. It was way too sweet. There was too much syrup and not enough of the actual matcha, and I asked for like a very minimal amount of syrup, but it was still really gross, and I could tell it wasn't going to be nice because it wasn't the right color of green. So I'm gonna have to make one when I get home, and I tend to like my ones better anyway because I know what I like. So hello, I am currently sat in the garden enjoying my lunch break. I did in fact work from home today, so I'm just enjoying a bit of fresh air. The sun has been coming and going, the birds have been chirping, I've got some hot water. The sun is behind a cloud right now, but it was just out, and I'm just enjoying a bit of a moment before I get back to work. I did not read that much last night. I only read a couple of chapters and then I fell asleep. But I tend to read the most when I'm going to the office because I read a lot as I'm commuting. So hopefully over the next few days I will read quite a bit, and then I will do my book journaling updates either throughout the evenings or when the next weekend comes around. I will see how that goes. It's quite busy at work this week, so I'm not sure if I will get too much time in the evenings, but I'll see how the week goes. I have actually also deleted TikTok this morning. I deleted my account, and I've also deleted the apps because that was what I was doom scrolling on the most, and doom scrolling was something that I just completely want to remove from my life. And I love YouTube and I enjoy Instagram. TikTok was always one that was kind of there because I felt like it was a good place to post, but I didn't really enjoy it, so that has been deleted. I do go back and forth with my socials in general, but at the moment I'm liking YouTube and Instagram, so that is something that I deleted this morning. But I do have about half an hour left of my lunch break, so I might go on a little 10-15 minute walk before I come back to work, and then finish off and hopefully get an early night this evening, hopefully do some reading, and then go to sleep pretty early for a bright and early morning. I've also really been enjoying my early mornings this past week. I don't know if it was the jet lag that helped me get into a good routine, or just being really tired on the day that we got back, which meant that I went to sleep earlier and woke up earlier, and since then that's just kind of kept going. And I've really been enjoying those early mornings where I have a good hour or two to myself to get ready slowly, to journal, to maybe read a little bit, and to get my day started. And it's also helped with my relationship with social media, because the only times that I really got distracted by it was often in the evenings. But now that I know that I want to wake up earlier, it means that I'm putting my phone away quicker because I'm setting an alarm for the morning a lot earlier than I had done before. And I'm really liking that routine, and it's meaning that when I am on socials, I'm being very intentional with the content I'm consuming and what I'm interacting with, and I'm really enjoying that routine and how that's working in my life at the moment. Also, because it has been sunny in the mornings, that's definitely helped me wake up and get started for the day, and I've been loving it. Even waking up early on the weekends, I've been really enjoying as well, which is something that I would always say that I would never do, but I've actually been loving it. So I'm hoping to stick with that routine, but I'm gonna enjoy a few more moments and then hopefully go on a 10-15 minute walk. Also, I am currently surrounded by our garden furniture, which has been tucked away over winter, so hopefully we can bring that out soon. So I am in fact on my walk, and I just found a bench to sit on for a little bit. Something that I do want to do in spring or summer is to bring my sketchbooks and draw in a park or on a bench, and also maybe do that with reading too. So this could be a nice spot that I could do that in. There are a few other ones that I've seen too, so that's definitely something that I want to do. I have about 10 minutes until I need to log back in, so I'm going to head back home, get some more hot water and get back to work. Good morning. It is a Wednesday now. I will be heading into the office soon. One thing that I've been doing in my mornings is actually watching a cozy YouTube video whilst I've been getting ready, and this has been a really great way to first of all make it a cozy morning, also make it feel more intentional and give myself something that I enjoy doing whilst I get ready. It just helps me feel a bit more in control of my mornings and giving myself the opportunity to do something that I want rather than I need to do, because the rest of the day when you're working, it's things that you need to do more than you want to do. So I really enjoyed adding that in my mornings, and I was in this mindset that was actually not productive because you should be listening to a podcast or a self-help book or whatever, and doing the podcast and self-help book worked at different times in my life, but right now I'm in a space where I just want things to be a lot more intentional. And for me, watching a YouTube video makes me feel cozy, it makes me feel ready for the day, it makes me feel like I've already done something that I enjoy doing in the day before I've even left the house. So I've really been enjoying that aspect of my mornings when I do have a bit more time to do so. Now, in terms of reading, I have been reading The Throne of Broken Gods, I think it's called. I've only read a couple of chapters. Yesterday, the train that I was on in my morning commute was so nice. I don't know if it was just random or if that's going to continue happening, but it was so nice. So I managed to have a nice little reading sesh in the morning as well as the evening before. So that was really good to do. Now, I was also listening to the second book in the Ashes of Thesmos series. I keep forgetting what it's called. It starts with Thorns. I have, however, since DNF'd it. I got so bored. I did not like Torj, who was the MMC. The thing is, I liked him as a side character in the Legends of Thesmos series, but as one of the mains in this, I don't know, the way that the story has gone, he was irritating me. I was getting really bored with the plot. The spice was coming out of nowhere, even though there was so much bickering, and it just didn't make sense to me. It felt a lot like the second book in the Legends of Thesmos series, and it was just a mimic of that in terms of the spice but no plot, and I was just getting so bored. The thing is, I actually really like Ren, who was the FMC. I really liked her and I really wanted to know her story, but the way the plot has gone in this second book, I've just got so bored of it, and I have not only DNF'd that, but I've also DNF'd that whole series, so I will not be completing that. Now, I then decided, I do need an audiobook to listen to. I have 2 credits left. So I scrolled through my TBR because I do have that noted on my phone, and I decided to read Blood Moon by, let me open it up. Who is it by? Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis. And I am already 80% of the way through. Can you see that? I am already nearly, I am already 70% of the way through. I flew through it yesterday. I will probably, if not finish it today, then definitely by like the end of this work week, I will complete that. It's been so good. It's been so fun. And let me just, okay, I'll read you the summary that is written on Audible if you don't know what it is about. Mirabella Owens grew up with legends of wolves that traveled to her Midwestern town to protect humans from vampires, of a werewolf that fell in love with one of the undead, unraveling a blood-soaked history. But Mira stopped believing in those fairy tales years ago. She stopped believing in a lot of things after her mum left without a trace when she was only 13. As Mira begins her freshman year at Lakeland University, she's ready to leave the past behind her. Only the past isn't finished with her yet. Strange animal attacks are occurring around campus, reopening old cases tied to her mother's disappearance, and the only person who seems to know anything is Julian Santos, the boy who is hell-bent on getting Mira to leave campus for reasons she can't begin to understand. But Mira refuses to let him keep his secrets, not when the truth is the difference between life and death. Mira will have to accept that there is much more to the old town myths and her growing feelings for Julian than she ever could have anticipated. And as the blood moon rises, she will come to know a world that will shatter her past and change her future. It's such a good book. It's got here, it's listed as difficult situations, fantasy, literature and fiction, mystery, thriller, suspense, paranormal, romance, sci-fi and fantasy, shifter, werewolf and wolf. And it's so good. I'm really enjoying it. This was apparently released on the 9th of September 2025. I think that's the audiobook release, but it's so good. I'm really enjoying it. As I said, I'm like 70% of the way through, flew through it. I like the main character. I like the way that things are developing. I like the side characters and the friendships and even some of like the romances that are occurring. I'm liking the way that things are being revealed or learned from our main character. I really like the main character as well, which is always great when you're reading a book because you spend most of your time in their minds. And I'm just having a really fun time. It's really good. The second book isn't out yet, but I have just followed the author on Instagram, so I will keep up with that. But I'm really enjoying this book. Then, I think I mentioned in my last video that I love watching 2000s shows where you have other actors in the show. I'm watching Smallville and we've now got Dean from Supernatural in the show, which is so fun. I'm really enjoying it. I am on season 4 now and I'm loving this season so far. I think I really like the first one or two, or the first few were really getting you into the story, but this season I'm really enjoying. Now we've also got Lois Lane, which I'm really enjoying too, and I'm just liking the way that this story has been built and new characters have been added, and it's a really fun series so far. But anyway, I'm gonna go and head over to work and I will catch up with you later. So it is in fact 6 p.m. on Thursday. I did finish listening to Blood Moon yesterday. Now, towards like 75%, the FMC started to irritate me a little bit because she kept saying we're just friends when they clearly were not. And it made sense for her to say that towards the start because they were. But then it just started to get irritating because she kept repeating it when it obviously wasn't true. That being said, I really like the ending. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I'm really looking forward to the next book, which I think is going to be called Bloodlust. I had a really fun time listening to it. I think I've got back into audiobooks a little bit more, and it was a good read, and it was kind of random. I wasn't expecting to read that this month. It was already on my TBR for the year, but not for this month. So that was a fun find and a fun listen. So I'm really happy about that. Then I actually started to listen to another audiobook. Another item on my TBR for 2026 is to read a thriller. I wanted to branch out a little bit in terms of the books that I'm reading. So I started to listen to We Used to Live Here. I am 41% of the way through this. This essentially starts with this woman in a like house that she has just moved into with her partner, and this family of 5 come knocking on her door saying that they used to live there and they wanted to look around. So she lets them because she's a people pleaser, and her partner is at work at that point. So she allows them into the house and they look around and they essentially don't leave. And I'm only 40% of the way through, but I'm enjoying it so far. I definitely think thrillers are a genre that I can only listen to and not read, because I have tried to read them before and either they're too slow or I get too scared and I stop reading it. Whereas I think with audiobooks, because I tend to listen to them at a quicker pace than what my actual physical reading pace is, then I get through it a little bit quicker and I don't get so freaked out, whereas I do when I'm reading the physical book. So I'm liking it at the moment. Maybe I'll listen to more thrillers in the future, but that's what I'm listening to now. And then this morning I actually woke up pretty early, and so I did in fact do all of my book journaling. So what I ended up doing is I updated my 2026 TBR. So I realized that I actually haven't gotten through as much as I thought I had, but it's because I DNF'd a few books. So we've ticked off Blood Moon, we DNF'd The Secret History, and then we also DNF'd When the Moon Hatched, and we read Legend Born. So we do have quite a few books still left on here, but we're only in March, so it's not too bad. But I'm liking keeping track of this. I have detoured a little bit from the TBR, but not too much. And then what I did is I actually added my January and February wrap up. I only read 1 book in Feb, so that's why I put Jan and February together. And I think it's because February is when I DNF'd a few books, so then kind of went into a little bit of a slump. I also was prepping for my India trip, so that's why it got busy. And this spread, whilst it's quite simple, I actually really like it. I think sometimes I overdo it in my head and I really want it to look aesthetically pleasing and have all of these extra bits, which is fun at times, but then it gets a bit overwhelming and so I don't do it. So I really like that this is quite simple. It's literally just all of the books that I completed in January and February and the ratings of them. So that's sorted. And then I also set up my April TBR. So those are the books that I've got on my TBR that I spoke about in my April lineup, and I will definitely jazz this up a little bit when we get to the end of April and I have the chance to see what I read and what I didn't read. But that is actually my book journal updated. So those were the spreads that I wanted to do, and that is my creative reset done. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.